Hello, my name is Toriel Mehdi, and this is my final presentation um, for GRA 462. I'll be covering my exhibit poster board and a few spreads from my booklet. So to begin, we'll start with my exhibit board here. So a few challenges I ran into with this while producing this board. I'll begin with the social issue. So I chose a social issue back in GRA 461. At the time, here in Chicago, there was a large population of Venezuelan immigrants coming into the city. So I thought that may be a good issue to pick since, um, you know, I live in the city, so I was able to see firsthand what was going on here, the struggles that Venezuelans had to face with housing and whatnot, and trying to just make a life for themselves here. Um, Jumping ahead to GRA 462, I figured it'd probably be a better idea to cover a wider spectrum of immigration here in the city. So I decided to include Venezuela, but also Poland, China, Mexico, and Ukraine, since those are pretty large communities within the city. So while producing this exhibit board, a couple challenges I had to face was ultimately the flow of this board. I think it got it down pretty well from where I started. Ideally, I would want people to view the poster starting at the top left here, where the title is From Struggle to Sanctuary, and move their way down, reading each bit about these countries within the city, and then jumping over to the right-hand side of the poster board showcases their locations of their neighborhood locations within the city. And then you'd be reading about what is a sanctuary city and the welcoming city ordinance up here. Then move your way down to these street signs I had here. I implemented this to kind of give an urban feel of the Chicago city setting. And I put some information on. Again, here you read some of the information here, and then you follow the dotted line like you do up here to the map. You follow the dotted line here to the factual information on the street signs. So yeah, that was one challenge I had to face, and I think from where I started to where I am now, I think I did a pretty good job of fixing the flow of this and the overall structural grid of the exhibit board. And then for the interactive element of the board itself, I originally thought of using VR headsets if I were to produce this as a physical exhibit. I thought it could be a good idea to have viewers use VR and experience certain cultures through the headset. Perhaps like find a video or compile a compilation of videos of you know um, city settings within these different countries, different experiences you may have visiting these countries. And ultimately, I kind of scrapped that. I just figured the headset might be a little too expensive if I were to actually produce this, and it may just be a limited amount of visuals I could provide while using the headset. So I scrapped that idea, and I decided to go with the audio implementation. So down here we have the aux input for cultural immersion, and this is similar to if you were to go to an art gallery or exhibit. Some of the paintings or sculptures or whatever you're looking at there have plugins, so you could they usually give you a headset with a plugin, and you can plug into a board that's close by to a piece, and it would give you some sort of explanation about the sculpture, painting, what have you. And this is pretty similar to that. So you'd plug into any one of these countries right here, and it would give you a quick soundbite of what you may experience if you were to be in these countries. So general conversation in the city, on the streets, music, ambient noise, and I felt like this might be a good idea because this is these cultural communities make Chicago what it is today, and to experience each of those by itself would probably give a better idea of what those countries mean to the Chicago city experience. We'll move on to this first spread here. So I thought this spread worked pretty well. Um, I felt like I utilized the grid system um, in this spread particularly well. I feel like everything lines up pretty well. The blocking of text, blocking of images, everything seems aligned. I like the use of the shapes of the images I have here on the left hand side is a nice juxtaposition of the image I have here on the right, which is a circular image. And over here, I like the blocking of text is kind of offset by the images here, um, but you're still able to, follow the text in the image itself, move down to the next image in the block of text. And I just thought it was a good combination of shape and position while utilizing the grid for this spread. Moving on to the next spread. So this spread I liked a lot too, for kind of the same reason. The gridded structure here is set up pretty well. Everything seems aligned and even. These are a few revisions I made for my poster. And I thought this looked nice and neat. So I have three of the revisions, and then the last open block right here, I filled with text explaining the word I chose for my previous poster, which I ultimately changed for my final poster. It just seemed just orderly, neat, easy to read, easy to follow. And on the right hand side here, we have another block of text, and above we have some design I used again for a different revision. Just a little sneak peek of design process, what I was trying to capture when creating like the visual for my poster, which I ultimately scrapped too. It just didn't end up working out. So I thought this spread was a nice sneak peek into my poster process. I thought this was probably my weakest spread. This is a piece of my infographic chapter of my booklet. One big challenge I had for this piece was the lack of content I had for the infographic, so there wasn't much to put in this section. Unfortunately, I kind of used these images as, I guess, filler in a way. I did use these background images in one piece, in one revision of my infographic, but ultimately scrapped that for what I had for my final poster. I thought this might be better than just leaving this block of text by itself in an empty page. So yeah, I was just trying to fill up the pages with something. I felt like it was better than nothing, but ultimately I think I could have done a little more. So that is my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.